how to name our UNA. We have a revocable living trust. What would be the pros and cons of naming our UNA the exact name of the trust? Also, what is the advantage of having two UNAs? Okay, let's start with your revocation, revocable living trust. Now, obviously, you must have heard that this is a very special entity, the UNA, California UNA specific. They will allow us to mirror your name with the word trust in it. Now, you can't mirror an incorporation, you can't mirror an LLC, and somebody the other day we saw put in LP for limited partnership. You can't do that either because those denote a completely different entity. Because these are basically a trust type format, they will allow you to do that. And there's nothing but pros, okay? But it has more to do with what your current situation is. If your assets are right now all sitting in your revocable living trust, it may be beneficial for you just to mirror the name. You could claim that those assets belong to the UNA, and the pros of that is it wouldn't create a transferable issue upon death because they only have a limited lifespan. The trust does, as long as the grantor is living. If the grantor or the trustor is living, they're intact. But upon death, they execute the transfer, and the trust ends. And then there's usually an inheritable, taxable issue between the trustee that will transfer the asset to the beneficiary. But that also, if it's a statutory trust, it will involve. And you can ask Kim Johnson. She's going through a nightmarish situation right now of involving the court. And I've had other issues where they've waited over a year, their loved one has been passed away, and the assets are just they're just sitting there, not of non-use right now. With the UNA, they live forever. They outlive you. They outlive your beneficiaries. They never die. And therefore, the assets always remain intact. They always remain in the association. There is not a transferable date and time unless you choose to transfer it. The person in charge is the trustee or secretary. At any time, they could transfer or move the assets out or liquidate the assets, whatever they like. But if they choose not to, they just sit there. And upon a death, God forbid something happens, the UNA does not collapse like a trust does. It stays functional. The assets stay protected. They're never moved, never need to be moved. God forbid something happens. The only thing that happens would be the president or the secretary is replaced with a new president or secretary who resumes the role. Okay? So nothing but pros on that. That's your personal preference. As far as doing more than one UNA, there's many advantages of having more than one. First of all, if you have multiple businesses, multiple names, you might need more trade names. There is the issue of, I shared there's a creative way to do alternatives to loans. When they ask if you had a mortgage and they say, we need the last 2 years of tax returns, and you can't provide them, you say, look, I'm not obligated to file a tax return. So therefore, I can't provide you them, but what I can provide you are bank statements and pay stubs. And we have a creative way to do that. I won't share that now, but if you're interested, we can share that. You would have to have one name, of a business sounding name of a UNA, and then the other mirror your name. And on that note, another reason to have two is to mirror your name. Mirroring your name or your husband's name, your wife's name, whatever, allows you to have a bank account that matches your driver's license. It would look like a personal bank account. You could take payments in that name.